On behalf of the class of 2020, I'd like to thank Bethlehem College and Seminary for everything you've given us in these last 4 years. We're grateful to the faculty, the staff, and the community here for the clarity of your vision, the strength of your character, the faithfulness of your service, the rigor of your classes, the grace and compassion offered us in times of difficulty, and the love that you have shown us in countless ways during our time here. We're grateful to the donors whose generosity has allowed us to come here and study. And we're grateful to the Lord for using you all as channels of his goodness in our lives. He has impacted us through you in ways none of us will fully grasp in this lifetime. To my classmates, I want to say it's been a privilege to spend this time living alongside you. We have crashed on each other's couches and attended each other's weddings and made each other coffee in the middle of the night. I'm thinking of that paper on the French Revolution. We've debated in class and out of class and been challenged and strengthened by grappling with each other's perspectives. We've cried together and sung together and strengthened each other's hands in the Lord as Jonathan did for David. Just this morning, Abby and I, who've been roommates from day one, were sitting together. She had her coffee, and I had my tea. And if you haven't talked to Abby recently, she's very excited to be married in less than a month to one of our seminarians. But as we sat there, Abby said to me, "I don't think I would be disappointed if Jesus came back and I didn't get to have my wedding, because I'd just be headed to a better wedding." Well, about 2 hours later, we were calling 911 for an ambulance because Abby was having a severe allergic reaction and losing the ability to breathe. So she's home now and okay and on medication, but I have to admit the thought crossed my mind when it was all over that she could have been awfully close to getting her wish. And with that in mind, I want to give you all this exhortation. Don't put your hope in tomorrow. As graduates, it's natural and good for us to look to the future, to make plans as far as we're able, and to seek counsel about decisions that will likely impact us for the next 5, 10, maybe 50 years. But as temporal creatures, time-bound creatures, the present moment is the only place we intersect with eternity. I'm not saying the past and the future aren't important. The whole story, all of it is significant. But due to our nature, we're moving along a timeline, and that little blip on the timeline, now, is where we exist and believe and hope and pray and act. Life is a breath, says the preacher of Ecclesiastes. In the last 4 years, we have been served a feast of knowledge and wrestled with some of the finest minds in history. But we don't yet fully know why the Lord has given each of us this gift. You may live for another half century and write books that college students will read 200 years from now. I may die in a car accident tomorrow and go find a seat at the lower end of that banquet table and wait for the rest of you to arrive. You may glorify the Lord in the public eye with all the burdens and blessings that entails, and you may glorify the Lord by a life of quiet, patient suffering that you didn't expect and nobody planned for. But the wisdom of the past and the hope of future glory are ballast to keep us steady now. We're heading out into a world that is floundering and polarized and afraid. Suffering is everywhere, around us and in us. As Paul says, creation is groaning, and not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for the adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. For this reason, brothers and sisters, as we leave this place and grieve our losses and rejoice over our gains and head out into the unknown, I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named, that according to the riches of his glory he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us, to him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen.